Alright, anyway, this is a video about a show that's on many public radio stations called To the Best of Our Knowledge from Wisconsin Public Radio. And near where I live, it's on a couple of stations, KCPW and KUER. So anyway, I was having a little conversation with the KCPW staff about the show, and they were telling me that they actually received the show free, which seems a little surprising. But the show has on it a so-called journalist named Steve Paulson, and he is a fellow with the Templeton-Cambridge journalism program, so-called journalism, and that program is funded and sponsored by the Templeton Foundation. The Templeton Foundation is easily Googleable, and I will include some relevant links with this video about more details about them and criticisms of them. And so, anyway, this Templeton-Cambridge group, they pay journalists to go to conferences to listen to people talk about what they're advocating for, which is basically, from my perspective, a mixing of religion and science, and a watering down of science, and conflating science with religion, and whitewashing what religion has been and is. And so, and the Templeton group is also involved in that, and so they're kind of all joined at the hip. So the disturbing part of that whole deal is that normally public radio stations, they haven't been like, super religious stations, or the Bible beater stations, or conservative talk radio stations, or any of that stuff. They were kind of a refuge for people who are basically the children of the Enlightenment. And so, when I heard, anyway, if you listen to this To the Best of Our Knowledge program, their basic stance is to present an equivalence between mysticism and science. And like, anything goes, and let's just hear from everyone, and then you decide, right? That's kind of the same position as the so-called creation scientist people, who want to make an equivalence between creationism and evolution by natural selection. And just pretend like, the claims are equally valid, and we'll let the children decide. Well, the Templeton approach is to basically make an equivalence between science and religion, and so, their brand of spirituality, and basically, kind of a wishy-washy, whitewashed religion foisted onto the domains of science. So, anyway, I'm going to include links about this whole issue, comments by people like Richard Dawkins and A.C. Grayling and Jerry Coyne, that are basically critical of Templeton what Templeton's trying to do, Templeton-Cambridge, and all this stuff. But I think the main thing, you know, if you are a public radio station who has a news department, like KCPW and KUER claim to have, that you should just follow the money. Okay? So, if you have a program that pays to have journalists come to it, maybe that means something, huh? You know, the journalists don't pay to go to it, they get paid to go to it, to these Templeton-Cambridge conferences. How about that? And then, as far as, to the best of our knowledge, being on KCPW, do they pay for the program? No. What's up with that? They get it for free. Isn't that nice? You know, KCPW recently lost their AM station, 1010 AM, where they broadcast their regular programs, just kind of simulcast between AM and FM. They lost the AM station, and it's now a Catholic radio station. So, in the response from KCPW, they said that, well, you certainly have strong opinions about this, and the program is popular, and blah-de-da-de-da. Well, there's all sorts of so-called popular programs that you could put on the radio, you know, like, I don't know, maybe they could borrow from some other programs from the Catholic station that took over 1010 AM. Maybe they could bring on some conservative hate radio. You know, maybe that would be popular. Maybe there's some other Bible Beater station programs they could bring over, and maybe they'd be popular. Maybe you could get Howard Stern or sports or, I don't know, what's the radio equivalent of porn? Just whatever's popular, just bring it on there. But the premise that woo-woo bullcrap from people like Deepak Chopra, or, you know, he's not quite as strong as what the Templeton crap is, but it's all kind of the same. Just equivalating wishy-washy woo-woo with actual science, and trying to subvert science in the process. Okay? So, you know, and on a recent To the Best of Our Knowledge program, I flipped to it and I heard it, and I heard this lady bemoaning the fact that her son no longer believed in God, and she was so upset by that. Well, that's nice. But which God? Whose God? The Mormon God, who had literal sex with Mary, the mother of Jesus, and whose founding prophets of Mormonism, let's see, Joseph Smith had sex with a 14-year-old, Brigham Young with a 15-year-old, both men had sex with the wives of other men. You know, back in those days it was like, hey, bring on a new wife, still married to another man? No problem. Whatever God tells me to do, God, AA, you know what, tells me to do, that means that I get to do it. So, God gets to have sex with Mary, the mother of Jesus, a woman who was still married to another man. And then Joseph Smith gets to do this kind of same situation. And so does Brigham Young. Is that the God that lady on To the Best of Our Knowledge wanted me to believe in? Or just some nebulous God where God is love? Well, God may be love for a few people in a few more liberal religions, but God certainly is not love in most religions, and hasn't been love in the past religions, and is definitely not love in the Islamic religion, in the Islamic countries, you know, where most people are conservative Muslims and not the one or two liberal Muslims who happen to be in the United States. So, anyway, check out the links that I'm going to put on this video, and See what you think. And to KCPW KUER and any other public radio station who has, to the best of our knowledge, please drop the program. That's my request of you.